Well, hello everybody. It's the best of times, it was the worst of times, but nowadays no one cared about that, of course. Anyway, I got street credibility. It was a joke, of course, if you don't know about WHAM. Today we're gonna talk about WHAM from a marketing perspective and how these young boys dominate UK and the rest of the world. Yeah, the rest of the world through the lyrics and remit with hits like "Wake Me Up Before You Go Go," yo, wake me up before you go. Wham Ram. Well, they made a huge impact, especially in the 80's. Of course, the 80's was their peak and their popularity. Yeah, but first let's focus. Let's focus on how they build a branding and launch their albums, their first and the second. First of all, we're gonna focus on that because they have a third album, but it's more like a recompilation about that. So let's talk about the first. It was Fantasy. This album gender is a melodic disco with a bit of rap, reflecting obviously the rebellion new trends in the 80's. In the beginning, Andrew and George promote their album by performing it at ale house and discos. Obviously, there was a reason for this. There was a big reason for this. 30 years ago, obviously, there's no internet, so that was the best way to gain exposure. The presentation was crucial. I'm gonna say that it was crucial, and the technology was only accessible to major companies like TV or radio. But these boys already started, so it was the beginning era. Well, now I'm gonna give you a kind of opinion about my favorite songs of this album. From this album, One Rap, Club Tropicana, and Young Guns. These are tracks were designed to be pop hits. I'm gonna say that. And the record label Planet, obviously, for these three songs to break into London's top 10 and the radio charts. And in the end, WHAM managed to reach obviously to the top 5 in the UK radio in the 80's. Up to this point, obviously, we have to admit that their strategy was to be as visible as possible, as often as possible. That is the key, obviously, when you're a beginner and you don't have anything like a fandom, a niche fandom, so it's very important to be exposure. Moving to the second album, their fan base was well established in London, but internationally they were still relative unknown, and that is why their next album, Make It Big, was focused on producing obviously a major hits like Wake Me Up Before You Go Go and other kind of stuff like Everything She Wants, Freedom, and The Careless Whisper. And the most of the famous Careless Whisper for the classic saxophone. And also I want to mention Last Christmas. Last Christmas, I know it wasn't the part of the album, but it was released at the same year. So for me, I'm gonna say Brilliance is kind of part of this album. And obviously the success of Make It Big, the name of the second album's name came down to smart networking and a great produce, and being everywhere as possible as I could. Obviously there are the knowledge, the wisdom nuggets. You have to get it. is make everything they possibly could and great product, and obviously be able to be as many places as possible. And that is, if you like this video, comment down below and subscribe.